All right, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. And here we go again. Here we go again. What am I talking about? So apparently, the market's all giddy. Inflation continues to rise. Absolutely, this is a fact. Inflation continues to rise, but it's the same story that we've been hearing. The pace at which inflation is rising appears to be slowing according to the data that they want to fist feed you and I. Again, ignore what you're seeing with your own eyeballs. That doesn't matter. It's what they say is true. So even according to what they want us to know, so yes, inflation continues to rise and core inflation continues to rise. What's core inflation? Strip out food and energy, which of course, they want you to believe that the fluctuations in price with regard to food and energy are just temporary and they're transitory as well. Are you watching energy prices as of late? And food inflation, according to their own numbers, is outpacing everything. But on the back of this news, the stock market is pretty much, orgasmic right now. You got stock futures higher across the board. Let's move on here. The 10-year yield, I just looked at it. It's basically falling through the floor just over the past several days. We were at 4.08. Now we're at 3.9. The relative strength of the dollar this morning literally plummeted down 0.64%. The MMRI, Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, is now about 246. Again, imagine my shock. Imagine your shock that they managed to reduce risk in this market because some entity out here, okay, and I think we all know who I'm talking about, is buying massive amounts of debt, again, keeping bond yields suppressed, but they're raising rates. They're raising rates, but yields are dropping. Oh, how does that work? Again, I'm yet to, figure that one out. It's astonishing. And there's a lot of talk this morning that the Fed, because of this fantastic news, it's fantastic because inflation is rising. It's still rising. Hold on a minute here. Inflation is still rising, but the pace is slower. So there's some speculation here that the Fed is not going to raise rates next month. Yes, they are. They are, because it has freaking nothing to do with inflation, why the Fed's raising rates. You know this, okay? Since day one, you know this, people. They're raising rates here to cut off the availability of credit to small businesses, trying to pressure the middle class, and they will. Look, they're going to raise rates next month, okay? A token 25 basis points, that's my best guess. And if I'm wrong, I would be shocked. Again, if you look at my record, look, I'm not the smartest guy in the room, that's the truth. But my record with calling the Federal Reserve is frankly stunning. 3 times. I've been wrong about the Fed, what the Fed would do 3 times in the last 12 freaking years. So I think my record is good. We're going to get a rate hike, just be ready for it. Central banks are not done. How can I put this another way? Central banks are not done creating distortions that exist across the spectrum of asset classes, the economies of the world here. They're not done crushing the middle class. They're not done fostering this new feudal system, let's call it what it is, a neo-feudal system, all right? Wipe out of the middle class, period, the end. And this market's going to, continue higher until it doesn't. Look, you and I, again, we're not staring at the Dow Jones Industrial Average all day long. No, we're not doing that. We're watching the debt market. You know why? Because we're smart. Because you and I realize that it's the debt market that is the driver of this entire freaking freak show. You understand? If they are going to keep yields suppressed, they're going to keep yield suppressed, what's that going to do? What does it do? Well, you know what I'm going to say. It opens up that doorway for cash to make its way into the stock market or risk assets, inflating a hyper bubble that is beyond anyone's wildest imaginations. Again, housing as well, despite the fact that mortgage rates are rising. And that's something else too. Again, they must what they're doing here, okay, is creating a slave nation. We all know that. You can't own anything. If you own something, well, they want to take it away from you. You understand? So they're making a housing, the ownership of a home out of reach for most people, by and large here, and turning the United States into, a nation of renters. You can't own anything. You're going to eat bugs. You're going to get smacked across the face back and forth, and you're going to like it. And this is all propaganda here, what we're hearing this morning. I don't believe any of the data. And then on top of that, this data is going to be revised. You do realize that, right? It's not real. None of it's real. It's never been real. And it's just the fakery here, the lies, the distractions, and the deceptions are just going to get even worse here. Absolutely. So the real story today is just, again, it's more of the same. It's inflation is rising, and it continues to rise according to their own numbers. All right. But the market today, at least this morning, you got stock futures higher across the board on the back of the 10-year yield. I mean, think about it. We're at 3.9. Just a few days ago, we were at 4.08. That's a pretty big drop. The dollar definitely got hit here. Crude oil continues its march higher. Imagine my shock. Crude will be, mark my words on this, and if I'm wrong, okay, I'll eat it. Crude is going over $80 a barrel very, very soon. What did we just find out? This new alliance that exists between Russia and Saudi Arabia with crude, what did they say? They're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that the price of crude oil stays high. Period. So you can count on that. $80 is probably a low number. It's going above 80. Period. At 67. At $67 a barrel, you and I, right here on this blog, said this was a buying opportunity. Get into commodities. People, you know that. Energy is going much, much higher. Commodities are priced in dollars. The dollar is a dying asset. You know that. Its purchasing power is being sucked out faster and freaking faster. What did we find out yesterday? That as a percentage of GDP, just to fund the debt here in the United States, according to the Congressional Budget Office, I mean, this is insane. They're expecting that to grow like 29.1% over the next 30 years. I think it's going to be a lot higher than that. But again, this is what they allow you to know. You know what I'm talking about here. So anyway, that's the story this morning. No surprise to you, me, or anybody. Do you think, how many of you believe, with a show of hands, that the fake data is not going to continue? How many of you believe that inflation is going to miraculously actually turn around and start to go negative? That the Fed is actually eventually going to hit their 2% target? Imagine that the Fed has a 2% target. They want inflation to continue rising at 2%. That's what they want. Why is that a good thing? Can someone explain that to me? I would think that having negative inflation would be a good thing. No, but they must continue to inflate. Why do you think? Again, how does it, tell Greg one more time, because I forget. I'm getting senile in my old age. Where does the power of a central bank reside? Where is it? Exactly. In its ability to inflate and inflate and inflate. That's it. Okay, if we can pull that away, you know this already. If we can prevent the Fed, let's just stick to the Fed, from issuing $1 single of more debt, what happens? It starts a domino effect and every single central bank around the world collapses, because that's where the power resides, in their ability to inflate. And you got, this current administration is, it just takes the cake here. But every single other president as well before bows down to the will of the central bank. I mean, our last president, Trump, okay, way better than the current guy, I'll give you that, but was calling for negative rates, was calling for a weaker dollar. Nothing could get a central banker off more than hearing a sitting president say that. Imagine my shock, imagine your shock. You can't be shocked. Nothing is what it seems to be. You all know that. Anyway, that's it, people. Again, I don't think this is a surprise to you or me or anybody else here. The lies, the distractions, deceptions, inflation continues to rise. Keep this in mind. But the market's loving it, quite obviously. Like I said, who knows where this is going to end up, but just gauging from the MMRI, 246 the last time I looked at it. We were at 260. 260 Zero, just 3 days ago. 3 days ago. You know, who knows what they're going to pull off? Is this going to drop even more? Again, if the Fed, central banks can manage to keep rates suppressed, how do they do that? They got to buy the debt. They can't just say it. They manage to keep rates suppressed. That just forces cash into risk assets or the stock market. And the distortions are going to get bigger and bigger. The gap between the market and the economy, which is now already off the scale. I've been showing you this for like 10 freaking years. I said the market's going to go this way. Economy is going to go this way. I've been showing you this since like time in freaking memorial, people. I'm okay. Greg is okay. Greg is all right. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out throughout the day. And you and I, you know what we're going to do? We're going to reconvene for the live stream, 1:05 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, whatever. And I'll see you then. Please have your questions ready. I'm sure you're laughing. I would be willing to bet that those of you that follow this blog, because you're all so far ahead of the curve on everything, because that's what we do here on this blog. This is the channel. This channel is for winners. You understand? Am I going to be right all the time? Are we going to be right all the time? No. It's an impossibility. Are we going to make some pretty bad calls? Yes, we are. That's just part of it. But if we could stay on the right side of this for the most part, and I could clearly say that's what we do, you know, how can we're invincible. I've been telling you this for the longest time, and mostly because we have each other, because we have each other's backs, we look out for each other. This is a family. I don't care what anybody says. This is a worldwide family. This isn't just some kind of a blog in my view. I love all of you, and I think most of you at least love me back, and I love that. All right, I'll see all of you later. Please comment. Please share the video. Those thumbs up are greatly appreciated. It gets the video out there. All right? I will. See you later.